All right. Well, welcome back to the Hometown Business Podcast. You'll have to excuse my voice. Allergies, pollen, it's killing me right now. So I am hyped up on all the allergy medicines and just trying to keep my throat from cracking. But we are here with Miss Ginny Gibbons.
Hello.
She is the owner. You've probably seen her around town because now that I know her, I see your stuff everywhere.
Yeah. That's the idea.
Yes. And she's here to talk marketing, which how appropriate. She owns Ginny's Custom Embroidery,
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Ginny's Custom Embroidery. They do everything. Chances are you own a shirt made by Ginny, which is awesome. But, we just love interviewing the local business owners and giving them a chance to teach us something and to brag about their business, brag about the cool things that are going on. So, we're going to let Ginny introduce herself.
Okay.
Tell everybody a little bit about herself.
Sure. Ginny Gibbons, Ginny's Custom Embroidery, and we've been in business about 13 years now, and we specialize in building brands. So we do that with embroidery, screen printing, promotional products, and anything with a logo is pretty much what we deal with.
Awesome. Very good. Sorry, messing with the microphone a little bit. We are very casual here. Okay, so I have been super excited to have Ginny on because I love talking marketing. I've really learned in my business that as we're growing, my job as the owner is client and employee attraction. And that's marketing to me.
Absolutely.
So I've been dying to kind of have a chance to talk to you. You're so busy, so I'm like, I'll get her on the podcast and we'll just talk on air.
It's perfect.
So yeah, I'm just going to ask you a few questions and we can just chat or whatever. Okay, so marketing, in my mind, I kind of just said that, but is employee and client attraction. So your company logo is everywhere out in the community. I also subscribe to your newsletter and your Facebook group because I like to just watch what other good marketers
Absolutely.
are doing and learn from that.
Thank you for saying good marketers.
Good marketers.
That means
Yes.
It's working a little bit at least.
And I'm like, how does she do all this? How did you learn the importance of doing that?
I don't know that I've learned it. It's kind of my wheelhouse, if that makes sense. I enjoy it. And when you start out a company, that's the hardest thing because you're doing more of, you're cleaning the houses and I was sewing the shirts. So I think it's become a lot easier as I've gotten employees who are doing those things. And it kind of frees you up as an owner to build the company. And so I think there's phases of marketing.
Yeah.
And it can get overwhelming if you start right when you're starting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more trial or error, I would say. But then I'm a creative person. So establishing a brand and building that's just fun to me.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like it's hard because I enjoy it. If
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps anybody, but for me, it's just fun creativity. And I just think of different ideas and ways to build that out.
Now, do you help like your other businesses in the area with that, or do they just come to you?
Yeah, that's what I do for a living. So a perfect client for us, we're almost part of your marketing team. It's the way that we kind of look at things. So especially our corporate clients, they'll send me an email, hey, we have this event coming up. This is our budget. Go.
Yeah.
And that's where we build ideas together because we're in it all the time. I see what works, what doesn't work. We have a plethora of clients that we've done things for, so I can pull from there, and then the new products coming out. So it's overwhelming. You can go on our website and search a million products if you want to,
right?
But it's a lot easier to just say, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking, and then we pull different ideas, look at newer items that are coming out. A lot of times people will send me a product, hey, we like this, and I know it's perhaps not the best supplier. So I'm like, I understand the idea, but I don't want to use this one. Let's do one of these. So, that's really what sets us apart in general. You can buy anything I sell online from anybody.
Right.
But if you reach out to us, that's where you're going to get more of a customized experience and you're going to get a good product that works for what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So well, that's good. I'm not even thinking in terms of promo items, but I know I've bought shirts from just smaller people before, smaller companies before, and I'm like, crap, this is a crappy shirt. But I didn't know. I mean, I just picked it off their website or whatever.
Well, and you don't know. And that's the thing. Our catalog, it's like an inch and a half, and that's just one. That's just a snippet of all of the products that we can source. So we have that product knowledge, and that's what makes it a lot easier when you go through us.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll sell you something if you're stuck on it, and it's what you have to have. But I'm going to say no. You don't. You don't want to do that.
It's going to be a waste of your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And two, there's not really any barriers to entry into our industry. You just have to buy a machine.
Right.
But a lot goes into the creation of the design, that it sews nicely. A lot goes into how it's screen printed and making sure you have the certain, different types of material need different things. And so that's where the experience comes in and how you get a good product.
Definitely. I know I would pay more for someone who could tell me that this is going to be a shirt that your team likes to wear. This is going to be something that if you pass it out to people, you'll see it around town because people like to wear it.
Exactly.
Well, that's good. And then your business mastermind Facebook group. Like, I know what I've learned in marketing is content creation is such a big deal. And like, that's such a smart move on your part. Like, I feel like you were probably doing that before you started hearing the importance of having a Facebook group and all of that stuff. Like, how did you come up with that?
Well, the mastermind, honestly, I came up with it because I felt like it was something I wanted as a business owner, a woman in business. And I couldn't find anything out there. And so I've always felt it's very lonely at the top. And when you're leading, you're always pouring out into others. And you almost feel a little bit like no one can relate to you. And it's when you own a business and you have employees and you're going through that, there are pressures and experiences that you have that no one else has. And so in finding or in starting that mastermind, it's just to connect women in business so we can encourage each other and give advice. I know a lot of people from that group, and that group's very much, it's there for you, and a lot of people are not necessarily interacting, but they're watching the videos and stuff. But then people are pairing off and like connecting and that kind of thing, which I think is very important to have the one-on-one. But I just kind of go with wherever the Lord leads me on that one, and I mean that's what I do, and also what I'm experiencing. So if I'm going through a tough week with an employee or something like that, and I kind of speak into that, what I'm kind of experiencing, and then it just shifts wherever it shifts. But that's been fun, and it's actually a lot of the motivation was accountability for me to make sure I'm growing and I'm progressing as an owner and a woman in business as well. But I'm also in another mastermind that's only 5 women, and that I think I definitely recommend the closer ones because that's where you really get in the nitty gritty. Right. And I've pulled nuggets away from those meetings that have been major game changers in the functioning of the company. But as to content creation on the business side of stuff, I'm just really, I sell products. So my content's, I think, a little easier than other people because I just showcase products. But I do kind of bulk it up. So one of my tricks, I guess, is I have like a production day. And so I'll make 30 videos that day. Oh, that's fun. And then I just have all of those and then I'll pull and build out. And it's always usually geared on new items coming out for me or something like that. Or even just, I order samples for clients all the time. So if I get a sample in, I'll do a demo on it because I have it, and I have the content and I've seen it and used it. So, but I always bulk that because the idea of making a video every day is just insane. So I just knock it all out and you occasionally will hear the microwave from the break room. So I'll have to, well, you won't hear that, but I'll have to redo one occasionally because, there's work happening here. But that's a little trick that's made it a little easier on the content creation side.
That's definitely smart because otherwise, I mean, even filming the podcast, I'm like, this will be a full-time job if I don't really systematize how I do it.
Absolutely.
But I think it's really invaluable because I'm just a huge believer in giving as much as I possibly can and just knowing that it's going to come back.
Absolutely.
I think people really connect with that. So I'm going to let you just share the vast array of marketing services and materials you offer.
Sure. So obviously our services are embroidery, screen printing, and promotional products. And that material wise is a lot. So we really work budget wise. So if you want to spend $20 on a polo shirt that's embroidered, we can find that. If you want to spend $150 on a cutter and butt, we can do that too. So the array of brands is just massive. And we have rights to the bigger brands like the North Face and Nike and that too. So really we can fit any budget or desire, with what you want your brand to look like. And as far as promotional products, it's endless. I mean, truly endless. And we even can source crazy volumes of stuff. We have overseas partners and local partners as well that like based out of Atlanta and stuff that can handle the massive volume, when you're into the 20,000 of something, that kind of thing. Yes. Which some of our corporate clients, they need that. Thank goodness, right? Right. But just endless products, anything with a logo on it, if you just think about it that way, is good for us. From the banners and the trade show stuff to the pens you're passing out, your uniforms for your team. Yeah. Just almost anything and everything you can imagine. Yeah.
I'm already thinking I want our team to help out in the Monroe Parade this year. So I'm already thinking, okay, what unique could I pass out? Right now, I'm thinking air fresheners, like car air fresheners.
Yeah, that would be good.
But I'm super picky. I want a certain smell. Like
I could even see like a duster or something really fun.
So we're going to talk after because
something like big and elaborate that people are carrying around.
Something fun that the kids will grab and play with or whatever. And then when you need a house cleaner, you'll think, oh, what was that thing?
Exactly.
So here's my voice cracking. But I love the out of the box stuff. You did a video recently with a big popcorn tin.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that's so smart. My voice, I'm sorry. But I never would have thought of that. What are some other out of the box? I mean, you just said the duster. That's a good idea. I wonder if you thought of that.
One thing that I absolutely love to do, and we're finally starting to get back into these events, is the picnic thing. And my favorite thing to do is you get a Frisbee, and the bottom side you flip it over and put the paper plate inside the Frisbee, and that's what you serve the food on.
Oh, that's
cool. And so that's always been a fun one. And then everything's kind of retro right now, so there's a lot of throwback items. We just did some for one of our banks. That's the metal lunch tin. Oh, yeah. It's just cool. So any cool item that people like, or any functional item is going to be a great piece. Of course, right now we're still very much into the hand sanitizer and that kind of stuff. I think people are kind of over it a little bit, but that's still an item people are going to take and they're going to use. Right. And so that's definitely one to consider always until we kind of move past it. And it's so funny, for so many months we couldn't get it. So
I know. So now I'm seeing it
I know
everywhere.
it's,
so
it's everywhere now. I had one order that was back ordered for like 9 months for hand sanitizer. So right when it first all started happening. But that's always good. But I love themes. So anytime you have a theme, of course we're dealing with a lot of summer things right now. So your beach balls, ice pops, all kinds of things. You can pretty much do anything with a brand on it. And that's the kind of stuff that you want. Kids are great. So if you can get them a toy or something like that, that's going to stay around. And then kitchen items are really good too. So if you're for you especially, if it's a home service, anything that can be in the main area that they're always in is great. Even just like a spatula that, they like, but it has your brand on it, So the idea is to create awareness. So when the need arises, you're already in their head,
Yeah, that's smart. So why is branding so important to our marketing plan?
Oh, that's a good question. So if you think about it, there's a lot of good businesses out there, but a lot of people don't know about them. And that's because they're not doing anything as far as branding and marketing. And so when you create a custom product and you give it to someone and it's a good product and they're using it and they're wearing it, it's a billboard. And I mean, as business owners, you know how much you can spend on billboards. Right. That's why I wrap vehicles, because it's the same thing. I don't, but my vehicles are wrapped.
Gotcha.
But that's that's your moving billboard, and that's what creates and establishes a brand. And it's funny, I'm going to talk about my mother for a minute, but at trade shows, she was always worried about people taking more than one thing, but I'm like, no, you want to flood the market, like, who cares? just get it out there, you know, and that's when you find your pin at a restaurant where someone has left their pin and that kind of thing. That's a great place to leave pins, by the way,
right,
at restaurants. But it's just about saturating the market with your logo. And again, the more people see it, the more they have that recognition. Then when they need it, they'll recall that information.
Right.
So the idea is just, I'm always about just tons, just put everything you possibly can. And I think good products that are functional are key. You know, you don't want to do things that they're going to throw in the trash, and there are things that they'll throw in the trash. You know, if it's a toy or something for that they'll pass to their kid, that's not a bad thing. But something that, you know, is actually serves a good purpose. Right. The cell phone sleeves on the back of their cell phone. Anytime you can connect to that phone that everyone is so attached to, that's always going to be a good thing. Right. So, and then hitting, you know, the markets on what appeals to them. So if you're calling on a lot of your eco-friendly kind of markets, then reusable things would be a great thing to put your logo and brand on. So just kind of being smart about who you're going after. Right.
That's good. So I think we kind of talked about this. I'm not sure if it was before we were filming or not, so I'm just going to ask. So sometimes when I know I need to create branded items, I don't really know where to begin. You know, like I've been on your website before and looked through all the shirts, and I'm like, but I don't know what they feel like. I don't know.
It's,
you know,
overwhelming.
So, but you do. It was on video that we were already talking about this, but you offer the service of really coming.
I prefer that. And especially before we print or embellish in any way, because once we do that, it's yours, but we sample, you know, especially if you're outfitting a staff, let's order a size run in whatever product so we can make sure they're ordering the right size. There's just no reason to have someone order a large and really need an extra large, but oh well, you know. So I mean, samples, we always provide samples. That is not a problem. I'm a touchy-feel kind of person, especially in apparel, and especially for women, because there's not any consistency whatsoever in cuts. So let's order it in, let's try it on. That is not a fee to anyone. We do that all the time. And the same thing with promotional products. I actually prefer more so on the promotional side, because sometimes they take great images of their products and they look amazing. Sometimes it will look like it even has like a glossy look to it, and you get it in and it's a matte finish, you know? So just get the samples in. And of course, you know, there are some people, they want to go and look and pick out their things, and that's fine. And you're welcome to do that. And some of my clients do that, and then they just send it to me, and then I start pulling things together. But you don't have to do that. That's why I'm here. So the best thing is to say, hey, kind of, this is my budget. This is what I'm thinking, you know, and then let us just put together a presentation for you.
That's awesome, because I wouldn't have even known to ask for that. I would have assumed like,
I
don't know.
But it is overwhelming. It's hard. Our website, you kind of have to show so much because we provide that much, but it's overwhelming. So I'm always, you know, you can even look at on the website. It's like, please, free consult. You know, let me help you. Let me help you. So it's always best to just reach out to us and let us do the work for you. And then it's just a matter of just deciding for you instead of figuring out what to decide on.
Right. That's good. Good to know. So we already talked about this too. I got my questions all out of order.
Or I might just be answering them before you're asking.
It's me. I'll take the blame. So and you said you consistently keep up with, I'll read the question because people are not in my brain. So I know a big part of marketing is that people don't always think about is the content creation. We talked about that. And you said you consistently keep up with that by doing like block content creation, like blocking that out. Does that go for your newsletter too? Like, how do you?
So my newsletter, I'm excited. We're kind of redoing it a little bit. And so because we have a Jeep, I've named it the Branding Trail, of course. So we're going on a trail ride, and a good friend of mine gave me this advice, and I really like it, but creating a journey that people go on. And of course, hence the Jeep trail that we're on. And what I do is to make sure I'm doing this every week, I do what's next on the branding trail in my newsletter. And so I'll just claim it. Okay, I'm going to talk about this next week. And then that honestly keeps me accountable. Because I'm like, well, and I think about, do I have videos on this? What do I have videos and content on? Then, okay, that's what I'm going to focus on the next week. And I just kind of throw it out there, which gives me like, hey,
then you got to do
you
it.
need to talk about that this week kind of thing. And just to try to keep it consistent in look and appearance, and just like take people along with us.
Yeah.
And it's funny, videos are great. I feel like people watch them and it has a better content in general. And so, you know, we have the YouTube channel that all of the videos are there. And then I'll put those links through the email. You know, you can find it in different places on our Facebook. They're all on the Facebook page as well. And it's funny, I'll have people look at those videos that I've done months ago and message me about it. So it's a resource, you know.
Right.
But that's kind of, I basically set up constant ways to keep myself accountable.
Right.
And I'm strategic in that.
Yeah.
And so that helps me to stay the course, I think, more or less.
But it's such a good payoff because you create that one piece of content. And like you said, it lives on forever.
Yeah, we use it all the time. And it's funny, I have a girl who works for me that does like my daily post. And so they are usually just a product highlight. Well, she doesn't necessarily know what videos I've made. So I can look at whatever she does that day and say, hey, I got a video for that. And I can drop it in the link and that kind of stuff. So it really works well together.
Right.
And she does kind of like my basic. And then I come in with the videos and the deeper content that's more of an interaction with me.
Yeah.
And so I think the combination of those two things really creates a good site for us.
That's awesome. I haven't even mentioned it to my team yet, but I want to invest in, there's one of them that I have in mind that I think would be awesome at it. I want to get her some just social media training and then pass that off to her.
Absolutely.
Because like, I love giving people new skills, but I also love the idea of not having to do that anymore.
Well, and you can kind of do I think the best place you can be as a business owner is when you are doing the things you love to do. And so I love to do the videos and more interaction stuff, but the thought of daily posting sounds terrible to me.
It's exhausting.
And so like I'm able to just focus on the things that I'm the best at.
Right.
And turn that over. And I mean, that's where you always want to be, you know, growing your team so they can take over some of those things.
And it gives them new skills that they can then go carry on. And I love
I like to just throw people in it. My team will probably, I don't know that they like that, but I'm like, thinking this is good for you.
Yeah.
Version
1.0. We'll perfect it later.
We'll figure it out as we go.
Right. But otherwise it'll never get done. I mean, you have to take time and say, you know, check in, are you okay here? You know, that kind of stuff. But I don't think people realize just how amazing they are until you push them. And so that's kind of fun. Yeah. So, and hopefully they can do all the things that we don't want to do. Right. And they like to do that. And then we are freed up to brand and invest. Do the things that only we can do.
Yeah.
I like that too. I love the idea that as my company grows, I get to be like, my idea of the fun stuff is planning the company morale and doing the fun stuff like the branding things.
Absolutely.
I love having time. When I was cleaning all the time, I had no time to think of that.
You don't.
It's just scrubbing
and
toilets.
Truly, I mean, that's the spirit of an entrepreneur. So I think we all want to get to that point.
Yeah.
And when we get to that point, it's when it really gets to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's definitely cool. So okay, we're at our lightning round now.
Okay.
This is the personal stuff that is most fun to talk about. So what books or podcasts are you currently reading or listening to?
Okay, so listening is key because I cannot tell you the last time I've actually opened a book other than my Bible. And sometimes I just do that on the phone too. But so I'm looking at my Audible. I'm one of these readers that's a mood reader, so I read things based on how I feel. So I have 12 books going on right now. One I just finished that's fantastic. I actually just bought it for my team. It's Your Best Year Ever by Michael Hyatt. And it's just really goal setting type of thing, but also mindset. And I think that's so important. I'm a very my parents could show you 50 some years of goals. I was raised to make goals. Yeah. And so the concept of I'm very comfortable with that. But this book really talks a little bit more about the mindset and things. And it's just an excellent resource. So I highly recommend that one. Yeah. The other one, I love Andy Stanley. I think his his stuff's very simple and very practical, and you kind of read it and you go, oh, I wish I had that when I was 18.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just so good about choices and decisions. My favorite that he wrote is Ask It. And it's just fantastic. So if you haven't read him before, that's the one I would start with. But I've been reading Better Decisions for Fewer Regrets by him. And it's he's very much in that realm. But it's so good. So like just solid wisdom in those. I tell you another really good one or Entree Leadership. If you are a business owner, the podcast is amazing. That's probably the only podcast I really listen to. The rest I just do books. But Entree Leadership, you have to read. I actually pulled more from that book than any other book that I've implemented in our team, and it actually really made an impact in our environment. So I love that one. Another really good one, and then I'm kind of nerdy a little bit. I get into the science type stuff and like why brains work the way they work. But The Happiness Advantage is really good. Let me find the author on that one. It's all in here somewhere. That's Sean Acker. I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
It's really good. They do a case study on Harvard students and happiness, and it really debunks happiness. I like that because it's kind of a surface emotion that's very wishy-washy. So but it's very good. Another thing about mindset, because so much of our stuff is mindset. And then I love anything Dave Ramsey, Andy Stanley, Stephen Covey, and then who's my favorite? I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Let me find one of them. It's John Maxwell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all of his stuff is just sound, good wisdom and business stuff. And then, so I get into some weird, like, I have the Story of Us, which is like 50 hours of history of the United States. Oh. It's insane. That's fun when your husband gets in the car and that's playing. He's like, I just don't know how you even can exist. So
that's funny.
But I like that stuff. So I flip-flop, from, it's usually something that helps with business or spiritual or random history and dorky things that I like. So
I'm the same way. I get in weird phases when I like certain things. And recently I did I'm enjoying all these like period dramas. And then I like to go read about it was real.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is fun. I can relate. All right. Next question. What is your favorite local place to eat? People always have a tough time with this one.
So hard. I go through, talk about phases. I go through phases with food. I'm really liking LR Burger.
We have our next like family date night planned there.
Yeah, and a lot of it, I like Local Republic, which is in Lawrenceville as well, and I'll go eat there for lunch with my husband a lot, and it's just good food. Yeah, and it's foodie food, like they have random stuff on things. Yeah, and I like that. Yeah, so, that's probably my favorite, and then Silver Queen. I love them. They're great. Too. We had our company party there for Christmas, and I just like it. Anytime you're gonna like fry what is it? It's like their corn dogs, like chorizo corn dog. Oh yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, it's very fresh tasting there. I do, and the environment is cool.
Yeah,
I do like
so those are probably my top favorites right now. Yeah, I love downtown.
I do too.
It's just, and then Chili's. I can't not give a plug to Chili's. And the chili dog seriously is the reason I can't seem to lose the last few. I mean, really, it's hard to resist. But he always tells me every time I go in there, he's like, "You're on a diet, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yes, I can't eat it. I have to like stay away." Away. But he's amazing.
Yeah. So. Well, that's good to know. We like to my husband and I do a monthly date night, but then we've decided we'll start doing a family date night and take the kids. I mean, because if you ask my kids where they want to eat, it's Waffle House or McDonald's. Okay. And I'm like, we're going to take you to restaurants.
Just Chick-fil-A or Zaxby's.
Oh, yeah. And Zaxby's, that's my new. I know. I'm like, I'm going to take you to a restaurant where you have to learn how to behave in a restaurant. Sure. And you have to try something kind of different. Yeah. And so we're going to start doing that. And I think LR Burger is our first place. Because secretly I've wanted to go there.
Oh, you haven't been?
No. Oh. Well, for our date nights, I'm like, I don't know if I want to stuff my face with a big old burger on date night.
You're married. You can totally stuff your face. That's why you get married. So you can eat burgers and you don't have to anymore. None of that salad junk.
So we'll be going there soon. We were going to go this weekend, but our weekend is crazy, so we'll push it off.
Yeah, it's good. I love it.
Yeah, well, good to know. So where can people find you online?
Oh wow, everywhere. I think we're really getting higher in the search engines. So I think if you just Google Ginny's Embroidery or something like that,
awesome.
it'll pop right up. Facebook is Ginny GCE. I think that might be our Instagram too.
Yeah.
Email. I mean, I feel like we have a really good online.
And you have
presence.
a YouTube channel.
Yeah, the YouTube channel. It's one of the, I don't know the handle or whatever you call it for that one. But you can, if you just type, especially if you type the full business Ginny's Custom Embroidery, it'll just be everywhere.
I always tell people start at Facebook and then you can get
yeah, and everything is cross connected, and I mean you can go to our website and click on all of the other stuff. So it's all everywhere.
Yes, because you're a good brander.
I try.
You're a good marketer. I see your sign at the ball field. I occasionally see your car at the ball field. My kids always point it out. So
I was happy about the ball field.
Yes.
I didn't know how my son would be because, of course, I have a very female brand. And I mentioned, I said, I think I'm going to put like Good Luck Bryson on it, and I think he likes it.
Oh, good.
I don't think he wants to admit it though because there's a lot of pink on it. But I think he likes it.
Well, good. I'll have to keep that in mind next year when they send out that email. Like, it is worth it. My stomach is growling. Hope the mic isn't picking that up. So, well,
it's
thank
making
you.
me hungry. So I'm talking about LR Burger. I'm like, I need to have that today.
Yeah. Or a Chili's.
Yes.
Chili dog. That would be a good lunch idea, actually. So, well, thank you for being a guest. This was fun.
Having me.
And
this is awesome.
Yeah, for viewers, listeners, we're on YouTube and the podcast. So you may be watching us, you may be listening to us. Either way, check out Ginny, because even if you don't own a business, like their stuff.
Oh yeah,
like
we have
that
gift
store in
I
Monroe.
didn't even mention that.
I know.
Out just right next to Chili's, we have a booth, and it's all of our gift items. So we do a lot of Monroe, Georgia stuff. So T-shirts, mugs, all of that, hats, different monogrammed items, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So there's that whole thing.
Yeah.
I usually go up there when I'm having a day off, as they call it, because I just play in my booth.
Yeah.
It's kind of
It's
easy.
stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, I think I'm going to go merchandise today.
Yes.
And just take a mental break.
Yeah. So, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Downtown Monroe is a great place to take a mental break.
It is.
So, all right. Well, I'm going to have all your contact information in the show notes and just everywhere.
Perfect.
So, anyways,
thank you so
you
much.
guys. Thank you,
Thank
Ginny.
you.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode is sponsored by Get It Together Cleaning Services. We give you back your free time by taking cleaning off your to-do list. You can find us online at www.gitcleaning.com or message us on Facebook. Our handle there is @GITcleaning. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this interview and want to see more, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We have more great interviews lined up in the coming weeks.